The skies are so much clearer than I ever remember them. If you go outside tonight, you might be able to spot the new moon of the month of Iyar. We're really into spring, and we can see time moving on in our gardens or outside our windows. But there's also a strange feeling about time. It's almost as if sometimes we don't know what day it is. And it feels as though the days are moving by so fast. Time is taking on a different feeling. But one thing that hasn't changed is how time means something to us. We're moving through the solar year, but we're also experiencing the change in the months. It's a new moon, a time for new beginnings, time for renewal, for celebrating Rosh Chodesh. The new moon affects the tides, the waves. Some people even say it affects the way things grow. The new moon is a time of new beginnings and possibilities, even during this crisis. The people that I speak to in our community also see this crisis as a time of growth and change, as well as a time of incredible challenge. On the one hand, a lot feels out of control. We might feel a sense of desperation, a sense that this crisis brings out the most anxious parts of who we are. But also, there's something of a paradox in this, because I learnt from Ruth Dines this week that it's only in that moment of accepting ourselves as we really are, only in the acceptance of ourselves, of perhaps our most anxious and our most desperate, that we are able to change. So this is a time then for learning that while we cannot change what is happening outside ourselves, we do have some options in ourselves. We always have some choice. So understanding my own limits enables me to stop rejecting as what I see as the flaws in other people. Feeling that events are not in my control is a way of seeing that the most sacred task ahead of us today is to walk alongside each other so that none of us is completely alone. And so this is about building a new reality out of loving kindness and compassion. Next week is also Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel's Day of Independence. That means it is also a time for celebrating an incredible sense of hope. In the words of Theodore Herzl, Im Tirtzu ein zo agada. If you desire it, it's no longer just a fantasy, a dream. The modern state of Israel was born out of incredible will, vision, political cooperation and grit. In other words, the opposite of acceptance of things the way they are. We hold both of those truths this Shabbat. It is a time for new beginning. It is a time of compassion and acceptance, and it is a time for action. All three are part of us, and all pointing the way for you and I to grow during these difficult times. Shabbat Shalom.